The major news update is the Election Commission has decided to carry out a special intensive revision of electoral rolls in Bihar.
Voter exclusion, according to me, is the real rig. It is not the EVM.
Because I think this case is going to be a landmark case. Because we've not heard the last word here. Supreme Court now says that ECI is not the final authority to decide whether a person is citizen or not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think even the former colleagues of Election Commission now have hit their head after trying valiantly to defend the institution. The current Election Commission have managed to say, forget it, you guys cannot defend it, we are going to be ruining it to such an extent.
So these issues, are they only Bihar specific issues? If it needs to be tackled at a pan-India level, then perhaps the Lok Sabha election was the right forum to do it.
Essentially, what ECI is doing is, it is putting the onus of being in voter list on citizens, which is state's job. It is ECI's job to maintain voter list, not citizens.
I feel like even if we assume that this is an exercise that is being done in good faith, the fact that it is being carried out in such a way does not imply that it is being done in good faith, right? The fact that
So in this new age of communication, ECI has to come out clearly and communicate.
Which is
Whatever
what
communication it is doing, it is adding to the confusion.
What is the rationale that the Chinese are giving that they should have authority to stamp the official Dalai Lama? And what power will the new Dalai Lama have that the Chinese wanted?
That no country has done more for the Dalai Lama and for Tibetans in exile than India has. Consistently. Now we might have been strategically quiet about it. There might have been some ambiguity, but there is no doubt that India has supported.
He's never abandoned them.
From Nehru to Narendra Modi.
what do Tibetans want, right? Because the entire narrative around Tibet, you said, is always framed by in the context of India and China and whatever. So you're saying that there is no movement for independence, right?
The official policy of the government in exile has been that we want meaningful autonomy within China. Having said that, there is a strain, the pro-Rangzen, which means independence, strain within the Tibetan struggle as well. But the official policy has been we want meaningful autonomy.
China is a country of a strategic seriousness. It's a strategically very serious country. It sees this Dalai Lama issue as a window of hope. A window for what it could not do because of Dalai Lama's personal charisma.
No host nation has benefited as much from the presence of its guests
Even
than
financial
India
and
has.
economic. Look at the place I was telling you about. That
Yes.
entire...
And
Modi
Tibetans have,
Yeah.
not to forget, laid down their lives. They have been part of the Special Frontier Force.
ITBP, yes.
Welcome to Chota Hafta. Now, Chota Hafta is but a small, chota version of a complete weekly podcast, News Laundry Hafta. The News Laundry Hafta is where you get the week's news, what made the headlines, what didn't make the headlines, but the full version is available to subscribers only. And I don't mean YouTube subscribers, although YouTube subscribers are also very welcome, very, very grateful to you, but also to News Laundry subscribers, the paying subscribers who pay to keep news free. So you can also become a paying subscriber by clicking the subscription link. Now, what do you get if you're a paying subscriber? You get access to all our paywall content, all interviews, podcasts, and importantly, you get access to a full unedited Hafta, where you not only get to hear the week's news, but you get to hear the News Laundry editors' positions on matters. You get to see their biases, what are their prejudices. It's an exercise in transparency while also informing you, and we have a few quips and jokes and agreements and disagreements thrown in. So listen to the full Hafta, subscribe to News Laundry, and pay to keep news free. Here we go.
अंग्रेज अपना लगान और न्यूज लॉन्ड्री अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते. Welcome to another episode of Hafta from a very rainy Delhi. We are today missing two of our regular Hafta, what do they call it?
Panelist.
Haftis. Huh?
Hafta Vasuli.
Hafta Vasoolers, Manisha Pandey and Raman Kirpal. Raman will be on Charcha this week. Meanwhile, Shardool is here without his moustache and he's looking like a 70s villain of a
Yes,
Hindi film.
that was the intended look. So I have a...
But it suits you. It looks
No,
good.
but the point is, this is deliberate and I'll tell you in recommendations.
Okay.
I had a unique experience last week.
Excellent.
I thought you were going to compare him to a 70s hero. That was really unfair.
No, the 70s hero has just walked in. His name is Anand Vardhan.
So,
Anand Vardhan.
so in my defense, or like to in support of villains, heroes are fucking losers who don't get anything. Villains have fun and die in peace.
No, also they have a lot of range of characters.
Yes.
The heroes
Correct.
were very
Villains can
one
do what
type.
they want and they die in peace. We heroes just struggle all their lives.
Right.
Villains are the new heroes, Shardool. It's all good.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Now every film that is made is about something files which demonize one community, or it's a version of some Ram story. So Anand Vardhan has joined us. Welcome, Anand.
Hello.
He is completely clean shaven and has shaved with a triple blade razor, I assume, considering by the smoothness of his shave. And joining us from Chennai is Jayashree.
Yes, you can't tell, but I'm also very smooth, guys. Don't
Yes,
worry.
she is also without moustache.
Yes.
So, we have an announcement before we start. By the way, we'll have two guests joining us today, both experts in their own field, and I'm quite excited to speak to both. And one issue that we're going to be discussing is Tibet, which used to be quite a discussion point, and actually, until it was listed here, I'd even forgotten about
Yes.
the Tibet, because in Dehradun,
Tibetan market.
yeah, and it was a
Yes.
huge community there. In fact, the first time I had momos in my life was in, I think, 1983.
When I was born.
There was, I mean, Delhi had no such thing as momos
Yes.
at the monastery behind Rajpur Road.
Yeah.
So it has a very large Tibetan colony, and the resistance used to see flags often. And it's slowly vanished. Like, until this was listed today, I had forgotten that there was a resistance on. So we'll be discussing that in some detail with an area expert. And we have a Sena project. Of course, Hafta is behind the paywall. I hope you will become a subscriber, contribute, and access all our paywall content, including our podcasts and our interviews. It is because we don't take advertising and we don't take government funds. So it is important you contribute to journalism. And if you want to look elsewhere to see what is happening to journalism, because it is either heavily dependent on, if not government funding, at least their patronage. You can see what's happening in the US, or billionaires funding it. Sena project, India's e-waste underworld. I think 3 or 4 stories have already gone up, Jayashree.
Yeah, and we have a lot more coming because he's going to be traveling a fair bit. So whatever you've read so far is just the tip of the iceberg.
And at least 2 subscribers have mailed me saying that there is this kind of locha happening in their area of how e-waste is treated. So this will require a lot of travel, quite a bit of research, and we're going to be dedicating at least 2, if not 3 resources to it, including a producer. So I do hope you will contribute. Here's the QR code. The link is in the show notes. So do contribute and pay to keep news free. I will introduce the guests when they join, but first let's get the headlines from Jayashree.
Here, the objective is to weed out illegal immigrants or non-citizens who have somehow entered the voter list. Correct. Now, if you see, there is a big dichotomy, and the Supreme Court hearing yesterday has actually added to the confusion now, I would say, because there are for you to be a voter, 3 things are required. One is you have to be a citizen. Second is you have to have attained 18 years of age. And third is that you need to be ordinarily residing in the polling booth or the area where you wish to be enrolled. Now, if you see the Form 6, which the ECI uses for enrollment of new voters, actually,
You can enroll with Aadhaar, but in this SCI, you cannot confirm with Aadhaar. Like, what kind of, it's convoluted.
Right. Circularity, as Amitabh said,
Yeah.
right.
because you cannot have a very lenient system to enroll and a tougher system
To
to
confirm.
exclude, correct? Or rather confirm. It should be the either way, correct? So it's like the election commission also perhaps has targets like sales people have, that you need to enroll voters, because I mean,
I don't think I'm alone in saying that the election commission, in fact, we had former Chief Election Commission Qureshi
Yes.
here as well. I think even the former colleagues of Election Commission now have hit their head after trying valiantly to defend the institution. The current Election Commission have managed to said, forget it, you guys cannot defend it, we are going to be ruining it to such an extent. To me, it's very transparent that they're trying to ensure that they somehow can swing the election in their favor, because Bihar seems very tough for both Nitish and BJP right now.
Many editorials have said that it is a fundamental right. Now, Supreme Court's precedents and the judgments have made it clear that voting is a legal right, a statutory right, and not a fundamental one. First case that comes to my mind is...
Swati Chawla is the Associate Professor of History and Digital Humanities and Director of the Postgraduate Diploma in Research and Innovation at the Jindal School of Liberal Arts and Humanities. She also serves as Senior Fellow for Dalai Lama and Nalanda Studies with the Foundation for Universal Responsibility of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. There's a reading list of all her articles that she's published, which is in the show notes below. We will just come to this discussion.
And
we have
a subscriber.
And a subscriber.
Yay.
How about that? That is the most important. Baki chodo.
Yeah.
No, see, Swati had, I think we read out her letter last week where she
Yes.
told us that we need to have a little more nuance on our discussions of Tibet, because outside
Yeah.
of the context of India and China and so on. So therefore, our producer Priyali reached out to her, and here she is.
See the beauty. That is how the network of News Laundry, its tentacles are everywhere. Politically, does it make sense for them to make a big deal, or they've made their noises and now everything goes back to normal? Oh,
Them, you mean China?
yeah. And what price has India actually had to pay for backing the Dalai Lama historically?
So I think if you pose this question as, would our relations with China have been very different if we had not supported Tibetans in exile and if we had not given refuge to the Dalai Lama? And I think the short answer to that question is no, they would not have been very different. India's position has been very cautious and measured. Since 1954, at least the Panchsheel Agreement, India recognizes the Tibetan Autonomous Region as part of China. Even the Dalai Lama's position since the Strasbourg proposal, since the late 1980s, has been that the Tibetans are not seeking secession, that they're seeking what they call meaningful autonomy within China. So
I believe that India should have been more aggressive in the support of Tibetan freedom, because back then you could. Now the ship...
Autonomy, not freedom, I guess.
Back then it was freedom. Now it's autonomy, right?
So, Swati, please tell those who are listening and are not subscribers yet why they should subscribe to News Laundry. Why did you?
I subscribed because I was annoyed at just my daily morning dose of newspapers. And don't even get me started on the news channels. I thought so much of the discussions on news channels was just tamasha, and it did not speak to my life at all. So I subscribe to News Laundry. I have actually a joint subscription, News Laundry and the News Minute, because I think a lot of the stories that you guys do are actually speak to my life more than most of the legacy media. Yeah, I think that's it. It's been 3 years almost, and
QR code.
I
cover
love
my
the
face.
podcasts. So yeah,
Right.
I don't know if I made a good pitch.
I hope you
That
did.
was a
I'm
great
sure-
pitch.
Great pitch.
Thank
So the
you.
QR code was covering my face while all this was being said. It's still covering my face. And the link is in the show notes below. Do subscribe, pay to keep news free. Be like Swati. And if you're a subscriber who can afford whatever 1,000, 300, 2,000, 3,000, whatever subscription you choose to give, and are also an area expert, we shall also exploit you free of cost. And you can join us on Hafta and give us the gyan of whatever is your area of expertise.
बस मुफ्त में इतना ही मिलेगा. For the full uncut podcast, subscribe to News Laundry and pay to keep news free. The best way to listen to the Hafta and indeed all our podcasts is through the News Laundry app. You can download the app by clicking on the links given in the show notes. So do download our app and get the best podcast experience. And also pay for news and support a new news media ecosystem that News Laundry is trying to encourage, where we are accountable to you because we run on contributions that you make. We don't take government ads, we don't take corporations ads, so that news serves the public, because when the public pays, the public is served. Subscribe to News Laundry, click on the link in the show notes below and proudly say, I pay to keep news free.